Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Piedmont Unitarian Universalist Church. Piedmont UU sits on the traditional land of the Catawba, Kiwayi, and Sugaree peoples. My name is Cosette Blackmer, and I am serving as the worship assistant for Reverend Dr. Amy Rio this morning. We are a flourishing, vibrant, radically welcoming congregation which promotes diversity, inclusion, and social justice. We provide a safe haven for creative, intellectual growth, spiritual development, and a deep sense of community for all who join us. We hope our liberal religious values will challenge you to join us as a community that lives boldly and acts justly. To all our visitors and members, we are very glad you're here in person or at home, and we hope to see you again. Your presence is a gift to us. We have a couple of announcements this morning. Join our PUUC CUPS chapter, that's Covenant of Unitarian Universalist Pagans, as we celebrate May Day Beltane tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. We will gather on the patio here at our university gathering, and we will honor the sacred feminine in all. Please plan to bring images of any female ancestors and/or favorite goddesses. Also bring flowers, drums and rattles, and a snack to share after our gathering. All are welcome. Please stay after our fellowship time today to help us sort clothes for the Compassion Closet. Sandwiches are available for a suggested donation. Becky, do you have anything to add to that this morning?
I'm sorry. I wasn't listening.
Well, if you have any questions, ask Becky.
Busted.
Most people don't listen to the announcements. It's all right. All right. For other important information about our vibrant community, please see your order of service, like Becky, or if you're online, see our and have our email on our email list. Please check our monthly newsletter and weekly announcements. Whatever brought you to this place at this hour, we welcome you, and may you find something that you need, and may you leave richer in spirit than when you arrived.
Our chalice is a symbol of our hope. Hope to live into a life guided by Spirit. Hope to emerge into the fullness of our own being. Hope to help create a world where this light shines brightly. I invite you now to please join me in singing the words to lighting our chalice, the symbol of our faith. Our call to worship this morning was written by Barbara J. Peskin. I invite you all to please stand as you are willing or able for our call to worship. For the beauty of the earth.
Is spinning blue green balls, yes.
Gaia, mother of everything.
We walk gently across your back.
To come together again in this place.
To remember how we can live.
To remember who we are.
To create how we will be.
Gaia, our home, the lap in which we live.
Welcome us.
Our opening hymn is found in our gray hymnal, number 207, Earth Was Given as a Garden. Please be seated. I don't believe we have any of our littlest ones here with us this morning, but I'm going to come forward and ask y'all to participate. So.
Would you like me to sit on the floor?
Yes, Lisa, I would like for you to sit on the floor. That would make me feel better. All right.
Down, but I wouldn't get back up.
Yeah. I'm impressed. You did that pretty easily there. So, and so, invite participation from everyone, not just brave Lisa who's sitting here. So, anyway, I have a prop over here, prop or symbol. Oh, Cassette will get that for us. And I guess Lisa, you might can see it most easily. What is this that I brought today?
It's a nest.
A nest, a bird nest.
Bird nest.
What would you normally expect to see in a bird nest? Anyone? So, eggs. Yeah. Or birds, maybe some baby birds. Now this has a few stones in it, which you would not normally see, but it was an empty, deserted nest when a friend gave it to me, and I put some special stones in there. So I brought a book, and Lisa, if you want to look at this, it's this wonderful book about all different kinds of birds and bird nest. So has anyone really looked into a bird nest that has different kind of birds? I mean, or eggs. Y'all know what I'm saying here. Yeah, so how can they really be different? Or what is that like? So,
Well, my favorite is robin's eggs.
Robin's
They're
eggs.
light blue with the little speckles, and my friend made me a special bowl that's robin eggs blue with little speckles.
oh, yeah.
But I don't know how they do it.
So, I don't either. So, yeah, robin's eggs. I think a lot of us have heard that color, robin egg blue, and how beautiful they are with the speckles. Have any of the rest of y'all seen any eggs in a nest? A lot, yes. Again.
We have a mockingbird nest in the parking lot at Eastway.
A mockingbird nest.
Mockingbird.
Wow.
I've never seen a mockingbird egg before.
What does,
Very speckled.
so mockingbirds have very speckled eggs. Yeah,
Very speckled. Speckled.
I know.
We had 5 baby bluebirds fledge a couple days ago out of our box in the front. And the red-shouldered hawk's been very, 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 very noisy. So I have a feeling they've fledged because they get really noisy. The parents keeping track of the baby.
Wow, so 5
Bluebirds.
bluebirds.
And the
Okay.
eggs are
They have blue eggs. I don't know much about this kind of thing, so I'm much more into the symbolic thing of eggs.
Hummingbird eggs are shaped like
Jelly, like,
like a jelly bean, rather. They're very small and narrow.
Hummingbird eggs are shaped like jelly beans, one of my favorite things, very small and narrow.
And
and
the
their
more
nests
narrow.
stretch.
And their nests stretch. Isn't this amazing? I don't know, we're having a good nature lesson today, so.
You asked.
Yeah, because it's made of spider web.
And made of spider webs. Wow, so.
and lichen, so they
Well, y'all are just wonderful today in helping with our time for all ages. So, and I think one thing I want us to, obviously our theme is looking at the earth and nests and eggs and emerging today. And there's such a wonderful thing that even though we have all these little birds and creatures who will emerge from eggs, they all look so different and they're so varied. And so I wanted us to think about that, and we'll talk. You're going to have a chance for some more participation in the message today, and to talk about a nest and what an empty nest means for us. But thank you, everyone, for your participation. I appreciate it. And Lisa, thank you, especially if you want to keep looking at the book. That is fine. So, you know, it's a beautiful book. So, you need a hand? You got it? All right. So, okay, thank you. We've come to the time for our ritual and sacred sharing, where we will share our joys and sorrows and our concerns and milestones. And we've had a great joy in our church family just the past few days. Shelby, a bit unexpectedly, had her little baby boy, Tony, arrive. So you will be getting an email soon with meal chain and some info, because this is a little earlier than what they're expecting, but they are doing very well, and just so happy to have little Tony in the world. We also light a candle for Anne, our pianist whose father passed away this past week, and she's with her family, with everyone today, and we give thanks for Darlene joining us to help lead our music today. We light a candle for Chris as she continues to recover from her fall. For everyone impacted by gun violence, and for all of us who are working so hard to help eradicate this epidemic. For the ongoing struggle for civil rights in Iran. For all areas of violence around the globe, and especially Sudan and the war in Ukraine. Now, at this time, you are welcome to come forward. We have our shared water with our stones over here near our prayer cards, and we also have our candles. You are welcome to come forward and to drop a stone in the shared water, fill out a prayer card, light your own candle for your own joy or concern. We now light a few more candles for the things we hold in our hearts which remain unspoken, and also for those joining us virtually to honor what is in their hearts as well. Now, as we prepare to enter into a time of quiet rest, meditation, or prayer, I invite you to, if you would like to do so, close your eyes and to deepen your breath and to imagine that you are encapsulated in a warm, cozy egg, this beautiful piece of creation, and that it is just before the shell will be breaking open, cracking open, and that you will emerge into this newer, more fuller version of yourself. Now, I will ring the singing bowl, and then we will have time for us to sit in this quiet meditation.
Our wisdom reading this morning is from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verses 1 through 8, the Hebrew Bible. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace.
Now, throughout it's my whole life, not just my adult life, I've always been a student and participant in spirituality. And I've always loved about learning about people's spiritual journeys. Now, I've been really interested, especially during my adult life, in how so many belief sets, especially from indigenous cultures, have rituals which mark important transitions in people's lives. I think we here in the West have too often ignored opportunities for rituals which mark important milestones and transitions in life. Now, while I do know some people who've done this, I have friends whose children have bar bat mitzvahs in the Jewish community. I know some women who've been starting to create their own rituals. I had some friends a few years ago do a ritual of the crone when they turned 60, living into the fullness of what it meant to be an older woman. But for so many of us, these rituals of transitions, of these liminal spaces in our lives, has been an afterthought. Now, for today, as we focus on a ritual of the empty nest, I'm going to be talking about a more general life transition, which can be applied at various points in our life journeys. Now, we'll call it the empty nest transition. You can call it wherever you want to. But as we explore this in these next few minutes, I hope you can imagine and connect with this in such a way that is far greater than just when parents or guardians have a child who moves off into adulthood. Now, a few years ago, my younger child was graduating from college. And I'd been a single parent for a while, and it was tough for me when she and her closest friends had gone to college. Now, I was so excited for them to be stepping into this new phase of their lives, but I missed them. And while my daughter was still in college, I was still her mom. She was home on a regular basis. I would travel down to Raleigh and take her out to eat. We'd go shopping at Target, the usual things parents do when their kids are in college. But something about that college graduation just hit me harder. Now, I've always had a little bit of a flair for the melodramatic, so I spoke to a few of my closest friends and said, okay, this week before Ava graduates, I need y'all to come over to my home on that Saturday night. Happened to be the first Saturday of May, which is coming up soon. And I said, we're going to do a ritual. I don't know what it's going to be, but just bring some symbols, because this is the end of motherhood ritual. So, now, we all know I'm always my kid's mom, right? But something about that space felt different to me. I had spent so many years with that being my central identity. So many years for being a mom was the absolute priority. Who was I if I were not first and foremost a mom? So my dear friends gathered with me and brought some wonderful symbols. My dear friend Mary brought this empty bird nest, which I brought here today. And she found it on her property just a few days before our ritual time together. And so this is obviously a gift from the Spirit. She found an empty nest. So I want to ask all of you, if you would like to share, what do you think of when you see an empty nest, either literally or figuratively? What comes to mind when you run across an empty nest?
New life.
New life. Yeah.
This is someone's home.
Someone's home. A little sadness. Yeah. What, Connie?
Will she reuse the nest?
Will she reuse the nest? Yes.
What's next? Like what happened?
Yeah. What's next?
Baby survived.
Yeah. What's the rest of the story? So.
How messy some nests can be, kind of like life.
Some nests are really messy, just like life. Yeah.
My experience was with little birds getting out of nests on our back porch and trying to crawl up the screen door and find a way to get out.
Wow. Okay, so Anne had little nests crawling out, or little birds crawling out of the nest on her back porch and crawling up the screen door, trying to get out. So,
Trying to find a way out.
trying to, wow. Amazing. Yes.
The intricacy of the nest itself.
The intricacy of the nest itself. Yeah, it has amazed me how these things are built.
I brought up a baby bird last year that had fallen out of the nest, and I had to feed it until it got big enough to fly away. And that was hard.
Yeah.
The baby left.
So Gail had a baby bird that had fallen out of the nest that she fed until it was ready to go off on its own, and it was not easy when that happened. Yeah. Yes.
For eagles, they'll reuse the same one every year, but they'll build more onto it. So you could say, you know, we're waiting for the next period. You know,
Yeah.
building even more, even higher.
So eagles will reuse the nest for the future, but they build more on it. So they're waiting for the next thing and building up for that.
My granddaughter and I raised a grackle that had fallen out of the nest, and it was really small, and I'm the one who got up every half hour to feed it and mushed up stuff, and that's how Val and Steve and I met, because I had it with me at a coffee shop.
Okay, for those of y'all online, Connie was raising a baby grackle. Grackle. I don't know what it is. And had to feed it every 30 minutes. And she had it at a coffee shop with her, and that's how she met Val and Steve. What a great story. So, wow. Yes, Rob?
Gratitude
Gratitude
for the nest.
for this, yes.
Gratitude for not having to build a nest every time we have children.
Gratitude that we don't have to build a nest every time we have children. Yes. Okay.
There are several birds, that move into nests that
Mhm.
are abandoned by other birds, like some chickadees and cowbirds,
And there were
and
birds.
and
Yeah.
great horned owl.
Mm.
So who's gonna be here next?
Oh, so birds which will move into a nest that someone else had built and kind of thinking, who's going to be here next? Yeah.
Sort of like a used house.
Used house. Yes. They don't need to worry about resale value, though, right?
I have a bit of a pessimistic view. If it's empty, I wonder if
We have to wonder if something not so great happened when we see an empty one.
Don't deny people that snakes there.
No, and y'all have had some great responses, and I hope that as we continue talking for the next few moments, that you will think about all these things that you think about when you see an empty nest, and also think about what that means for us, who we are as we emerge. Now, my son went to Lees McRae College up in Banner Elk, and there's a wonderful wildlife rehabilitation center there. Now, when we dropped him off for freshman orientation, the staff there ended the time when they wanted the parents to leave the campus, because not all parents want to do that easily. So they said, we have a closing ritual, closing event. I don't think I said ritual, but it was a ritual. And then after that, we invite the parents to leave. And so they brought out a young hawk they had found who had been injured, a very young one. And this rehabilitation center had nursed him. They had fed him. And they had taught him how to be a hawk, how to exist in the wild. And that moment when we were all gathered, they were releasing him from the nest of this rehabilitation center for the very first time. And we all watched as the hawk flew off into the mountains towards Grandfather Mountain. I couldn't even stop crying enough to say goodbye to my son. He patted me on the shoulder and said, "Mama, I really got to go be with my orientation group." So about a 2-hour drive back to Greensboro. My husband and daughter were up front, and I just sobbed in the back seat. About halfway back, we got around north of Wilkesboro. I calmed down enough, and I saw a Hardee's, and I thought, okay, I deserve this today of all days. I said, let's stop. I want to get a Diet Coke and a fried apple pie, right? So we go in. I've about pulled myself together. I'm halfway through my apple pie, drinking my Diet Coke, and music is playing, and the old song from the 60s by the Byrds comes on. Turn, turn, turn. We're going to hear the music for that after our message today with our musical reflection. And of course, I sobbed the rest of the way home. So there is a time for everything, and a time for us to emerge from the nest. Something needs to end for something new to begin, doesn't it? Life is a cycle of deaths and endings and new beginnings, which leads us to this transition with something new. Now, sometimes these endings are ones that we want, that we look forward to, like graduating from college or getting married, ending a time of singleness and to be in the very best kind of partnership. But sometimes things end and we don't want them to. We can think of the unexpected and untimely loss of someone we love, or even perhaps a period in our lives where we felt great joy, but we knew it was only a season that wouldn't last forever. And other times we're ready for things to end. We are ready to move forward, to emerge into our next phase of being. The symbol of the empty nest encompasses all these various kinds of endings and new beginnings, the various ways we emerge. Now, the Multnomah Message shared the following story in Theology News and Notes in the spring of 1993. Now, walking through the forest one day, a man found a young eagle who had fallen out of his nest. He took it home and put it in his barnyard, where it soon learned to eat and behave like the chickens. Now, one day, a naturalist passed by the farm and asked why it was that the king of all the birds should be confined to live in the barnyard with the chickens. And the farmer said he'd given it chicken feed and trained it to be a chicken, so it never learned to fly. Since it now behaved as the chickens, it was no longer an eagle. But the naturalist replied, "It still has the heart of an eagle. It can be taught to fly." He lifted the eagle toward the sky and said, "You belong to the sky and not the earth. Stretch your wings and fly." But the eagle didn't know who he was, and he jumped down to be with the chickens again. So the naturalist took the bird to the roof of the house and said, "You're an eagle. Stretch your wings and fly." But the eagle was confused and afraid and jumped down once more for chicken food. Finally, the naturalist took the eagle out of the barnyard to a high mountain, and there he held the king of the birds high above him and said, "You are an eagle. You belong to the sky. Stretch your wings and fly." The eagle looked around, back towards the barnyard and then up to the sky. And then the naturalist lifted him straight towards the sun. The eagle began to tremble, and then its wings finally unfurled, and he soared away into the heavens. Now, it may be that the eagle still remembers the chickens with nostalgia. It may be he even occasionally revisits the barnyard. But as far as anyone knows, he never returned to lead the life of a chicken again. Now, each one of us, we can remember so many times when we've been hanging out with the chickens, hanging back from our own emergence, where we know that we are meant to soar like an eagle. And we'll have more times in the future where the chicken feed and the barnyard just seem more comfortable. It's less scary. Yet the divine light that shines within each one of us calls us to continual emergence. The light calls us to a fuller, brighter, more loving version of ourselves. I invite us this morning to once again emerge from the comfortable nest, to unfurl our wings and soar off into the great unknown. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
Thank you. That was a lovely arrangement. Well done. And now let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and of hope, for we are now the keepers of the dream. This month, we are sharing our offering plate with Happy Roots. Happy Roots in Rowan County is a local 501c3 nonprofit providing nature-based therapeutic and educational services to enhance the wellness of the community and the environment. For more information, see www.happyrootsinc.org. We ask that you place your gift in the baskets as they make their way around the room. You are always welcome to give online at puuc.org or by texting PUUC at the number 73256. Today's offering will now gratefully be received.
We give thanks for the gifts contained within these baskets and for all the time, talents, and treasures shared by each member of our community. Blessed be. Now, I invite you to please stand as you are willing or able for our closing hymn found in our Teal hymnal, number 1064, Blue Boat Home.
Thank you.
Before we extinguish our chalice, I offer thanks for all the many volunteers who have helped make our service possible today. And we also ask that before you leave, you will place your hymnals back on the cart near the piano. Want to remind everyone we have this great opportunity for a service project at the end of our fellowship time. And I imagine Becky's going to need some help getting all the stuff out of the mom van. Yes. So to bring it in here and we'll do some sorting. And we do have some sandwiches and things that will be arriving soon to share if you'd like to eat as well. Now let us end as we do each Sunday by giving thanks, either in our hearts or with words, for the things for which we are grateful today.
New beginnings.
New beginnings.
The rain that tells me I must rest.
The rain that tells us we need to rest.
A beautiful sermon.
Thank you. Beautiful sermon. Thank you.
The strength to carry on when we come to the end of something.
Yeah. Strength to carry on when we come to the end of something. Yes.
For health in our bodies.
Health in our bodies. Yes.
For the ability to see possibilities.
The ability to see possibilities.
For nests and empty nests.
Nest and empty nest.
For the new perspective of grandchildren.
New perspective of grandchildren.
For my nephew graduating college yesterday.
Ooh, so that's nephew graduating college yesterday. We give thanks for all these things and so much more which we hold in our hearts today. Receive now this Celtic blessing written by Beth Richardson. It's entitled A Blessing of a Bird Nest. So fragile this nest, sitting on the electrical box, barely sheltered from the wind and the rain. So fragile these eggs, life growing within, nurtured by the warmth of a mother's tiny body. Life begins, life grows, life comes forth from miraculous beginnings. Thank you, Creator, for eyes to see intricate nest, tiny birds, speckled eggs, delight of your creation. We now extinguish our chalice, but we carry its light, its warmth, and its meaning with us until we meet again. May we go in peace, believe in peace, create peace wherever we wander. May it be so.
May it be so.